It's after 6. I'm like, let me just see if any like auto dealership is open, service department. Just like ask a question, like whatever. I called a few different places, none of them are open. And then finally, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, fuck it, I'll give AutoZone a try. They're open at least, and maybe the person I get in contact with is actually knows a thing or two about cars. So
You're like, oh,
the guy answers the phone right away from the voice. Old dude. I'm like, oh
oh
fuck
yeah,
yeah.
you got
Oh
it.
fuck yeah. So I'm like, all right, here's my situation. I got a caliper pin that was stuck. It came out very easily once I grabbed a set of wrenches. I'm like, I didn't even need a vice grip. Got this thing loose. I looked at it. It looks pretty lubricated to me. When I put it back in, I'm able to like wiggle it or I'm able to pull it in and out. But if I just push it in, it doesn't have any sort of a bounce back. Where the other one does have a little bit of a bounce back still, and it should, to my knowledge. I'm like, what do you think? Do I need to redo it? Like, should I clean it out and get some stuff, or do you think it's good? Like, what do you think? He's like, it was stuck. I'm like, yeah, I had to change the brakes. He goes, you should just clean it out. There's probably something in there at least. I'm like, all right. So I walk up to AutoZone at this point because my car is on jacks with 3 wheels. Luckily for me, the AutoZone is not even a half of a mile away. It's like a quarter of a mile away up the road.
Was
So
this the one that you called?
it is the one that I called.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right.
Walked in, I see 2 guys. I see my old guy. I'm like, that's my dude. And then I heard him to talk to the guy at the register. I'm like, that's my fucking guy right there. And then the other guy, there's some other kid in there. And then that guy opened up. There's a guy behind me. I'm like, go ahead. I'm talking to that guy. So I walk up. That guy gets free. He's like, how's it going? I'm like, hell yeah. Kind of sounded like Sam Elliott a little bit. I'm like, hey, I just called about the brake caliper pin. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, he's like, what do you need? I'm like, I need brake lubricant and brake cleaner. He's like, all right. And he walked me over. I wouldn't have in a million years known that that's where in the store it would have been. Because when I walked in, I'm looking at all the signs. I'm like, I don't know which one it's going to be. I'm just going to talk to him anyways. And he knows my
Yeah.
situation. Gets me what I need, check out, walk back, clean the shit out of it. I'm like, all right, based on these videos, it took them a while. Like they had to like lube the pin up, stick it in to like grab shit out of it and everything like that. I'm like, this one
They had
doesn't
to
seem
lube
that
it in
bad.
before they shoved it in and out.
Well, yeah, but
All right.
like that wasn't the final time doing it. Like they had to do it like three
Gotcha.
or four
So they had to
times
pull
to
it out and put
rem-
it back in a couple more times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
more like 4 pumps rather than one. So
Got it. Okay. Just clarifying here.
yes. So I take my brake cleaner and I'm like, all right, well, got the long skinny straw. I'm like, I'm just gonna spray the shit. I had shop rags out, so I just bending over. I'm like, cleaning it out, and all of a sudden it just it's just coming out because it's loose lubricant. And then I see like one or two like clumpy things come out, and I touch it with my finger. I'm like, oh yeah, that was my problem there. Like I don't know, I don't even know what it was. If it was just rust or whatever that got in there, because whatever. I don't know because my seal was fine. There wasn't a break in the seal. My rubber was good.
Gotta have
And
good rubber.
gotta
That
have good
prevents a
rubber.
lot of accidents.
So I'm like, all right, well, took my flashlight, stuck it down there. I'm like, there's like 2 more spots where old lube was. Like, I might as well just clean the rest of it out. And by the time I finished, spraying this shit, it's just spraying the same color out. It's not even discolored anymore at this point in time. I'm like, all right, lube up my pin, put it back in, mess around. I'm like, looks good to me. Finish up the brakes on my merry way. Well, what do you
Fucking
say? Do you want to get
may
into
as
some F1
well.
talk?
We may as well. Welcome back to the Backmarkers F1 podcast, the latest Formula One podcast that nobody really asked for.
Latest but greatest. You forgot that
What?
part.
Oh, absolutely the greatest.
Yes.
I feel like we're maybe good at this now. I don't know.
I think we got a
I
skill level.
I also love the hat choice, by the way, with the Detroit Grand Prix. Let's fucking go.
It is the Detroit Grand Prix weekend. We
But
will be out.
we're not going to be talking about that one. right?
We can talk a little bit about the end,
Well,
just what we're
maybe a little.
excited for. Just a slight, little. We'll finish off with the nightcap, or we'll have our final with some Detroit Grand Prix talk here. But yeah, no,
Uh,
we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the weekend. We've got the last race of our second triple header, right?
Second triple header, I
Yeah,
believe.
and there'll only be one more after this, but that's way late into the season. So
Yes. Let's get into our Pontiac Grand Preview for the
yes, the
Spanish Grand Prix.
back markers Spanish Pontiac Grand Prix. We got
Wait,
some
how do you say it
excitement.
in Spanish?
I never uno.
All right. All
Back markers, España, Pontiac.
right.
Oh,
How do you say a French word in Spanish? Huh. Anyway.
oh. They're similar. They're Romance
Yeah, it's
languages.
close enough.
It's close enough. So
Yeah.
I didn't do a ton of prep for today, but I do know there's one big storyline for this weekend. One major one at the very least. The wings.
Yes.
Our cheese and lettuce from the Krabby Patty Mobile, if you will.
Yes, the wings.
So we have the wings.
Um,
So okay, I didn't actually get smart on this. This is the last week of it, or it has to change for this is the
no,
race where it's changing.
this is the first week where they're implementing a stricter tolerance test.
Okay,
So basically, the wings were allowed to flex only so much, and now they're allowed to flex only so much less because of this new, more stringent rule that they're putting in place here. So
gotcha.
the other thing about Barcelona that I have my eyes on is that traditionally this is the weekend that everybody brings some upgrades. So cars get a little bit better. They figure out some issues, and
Hmm.
that is something to also keep our eye on, and maybe a hint for some of our picks a little bit later. We'll
Yes.
see. So
Exactly. But I okay, so the new wings are in place. So I feel like the running or the prevailing thought maybe for the weekend with this is that Mercedes is going to lose this like massive advantage that they've held so far, right?
you mean McLaren?
What did I say?
You said Mercedes.
Dude, this freaking brake changes messed with my day. Yes. The prevailing thought is McLaren, the orange ones, is going to lose like this huge advantage from the weekend. But it's not like this was a secret that the FIA was going to do this. Like you don't think they've been prepping for this moment?
Yeah, and then the other thing to consider is what other upgrades are going to be brought
Hmm.
that will have a different effect or a counteracting effect. You know what I mean? If they lose you say a tenth of a second off of their
Hmm.
pace because of the changes to the wings, but bring in upgrades that make the car as a whole 2 tenths faster,
Right.
it's not going to matter. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the wing issue, I don't know if it was necessarily overblown. I
Hmm.
don't want to say that. I don't know enough about engineering to say that, to be sure.
Well, remember,
But
we
I
have our
think,
fake engineering degree, so we can talk all day long about this.
oh yeah, and I can just text my buddy Adrian Newey,
Yes.
um, who still has not responded and also has not emailed because
Mm.
Derek, we have not gotten a single email to our email backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. So the listener is letting us down. Honestly, you're not pulling your weight, listener.
We did get a single comment on we got two comments on social posts over the last few days.
And were they
One
bots
was
or
one was from an account on Instagram that said, DM me this post and then sent me a big message on how I can pay to have it boosted. So
okay, of
I
course.
didn't respond to that one. And then
Nice.
the other one, I it must have been a bot because I don't even have a clue what it was talking about.
Fascinating.
Yes.
There
But
we
hey,
go.
we're getting out there. We're getting out there. People are seeing our stuff.
You
Hundreds
know,
of views.
tens of views even.
Nope,
Um,
hundreds. We are at least at 100 on every one.
uh, good for you. See, this is the
Good
difference
for
between the
us.
two of us. Good for us, but good for you because you are the one who is putting the effort into the creation of the content. I'm just a guy who's talking.
Hey, but it's your voice. We need this back and forth. This doesn't start without you and I. So, All right. I think we've tripped each other
my
off
head
enough
is going to
here for
get
that
even
one.
bigger than it already is. Yeah, I was
Back
going
to
to
the
say.
F1 talk. So
Yeah.
yes, Adrian Newey still has to get back to us on what he thinks on hot dog versus hamburger cars. But also, do you think he maybe just was a little mad with the way we've talked about Aston Martin in the last episode? We did kind of dog him a little bit, but
Honestly, I don't think we've dogged Aston Martin enough. I think we've been pretty diplomatic and pretty kind.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I've told you this. My life goal is to have an Aston Martin at some point, like a road car.
Yeah.
So I will never say anything too harsh about the
About
green
them.
team. Yeah, other than like, I don't know. How do you feel about their colors? How do you feel about their livery?
I mean, it's classic British racing green. So
It's not though. It's not
not
though. It's not like the right British racing green. I
okay.
don't know. Like it's like a different like I don't know. It's green. It's nice, but it's not like you know what I mean. I don't know.
I guess I
Maybe
just
I'm
don't know
being
what
too
British racing
picky.
green is that much. I do think that was fun though that like each country had a specific like color scheme for their
Yeah.
cars. That's kind of cool. I'm glad that, sometimes they stick to that a little bit, but I don't even remember what everybody's was. So hold on, wait.
I was
Let's see
gonna
if I do.
ask you
Let me
that. I
let me
was
see
gonna
if I
ask you
do.
that. Okay.
So British was the racing green.
Of course.
Italy, I'm assuming was red. It was not. That's just a
Not
Ferrari thing. Is it yellow?
everything. It is yellow.
It is yellow.
So,
Okay.
and I could be wrong. If we are wrong, first of all, no, we weren't. But also send us an email,
Yes.
backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. So, to my recollection,
Wait, I still have
Italy's.
some more guesses so don't go past Italy.
Let's just go one at a time.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Italy's national racing color is yellow.
Okay.
And then the reason that Ferrari was red was because where Ferrari was located in Italy, the color was more red, so they went with red as opposed to yellow. But continue.
Gotcha.
Let's hear some more guesses.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Germany was silver.
Yes and no. So
Okay.
I believe they started off as white. And then the silver arrows came about because they determined that they would save weight on the car if they didn't paint it. So they didn't paint it. And
Smart.
that's how they became the silver arrows.
Classic Germans.
Yep.
Classic Germans right there. But it makes the car heavier. Why would we do that?
You got French for your German accent. I love that.
Which is really bad.
Well,
Speaking of the French, so were they blue?
Yes.
They had to be blue. Allez le bleu. That's
yeah.
that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What other countries am I forgetting?
There are two more that I think I know. I could be wrong.
Okay. What are those countries?
I believe Japan, and I believe I know the United States, even though it wasn't as much of a similar thing here. I think
when I read that we had one.
Yeah, when I read the article about it, I think they said something about us having a national racing color, but I was also like, oh, that sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, okay, so we'll put an asterisk next to the United States. But let's guess
I'm gonna guess Japan was white.
Yes.
Because that's strictly because the Red Bull had the white car in Japan.
Yeah,
that was
and
the
white, the white
and the
Honda
white flag
is absolutely classico.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, and then you think, okay, so the United States, what would ours potentially be? It's a single color. It's not like multicolor.
I believe so, but I'm looking at the article right now.
I'm gonna guess we were blue. But like a different blue, so not like the French blue.
There were two different options according to Wikipedia, which is, as we know, the most valid of all sources.
Exactly.
There were two options: blue with white lengthwise stripes, or white with blue lengthwise stripes. So basically, your typical
with racing stripes.
Mustang, Cobra,
yep.
Yeah.
Mustang,
and then
Camaro, all the
I stand corrected. We were right.
Oh yeah, the 4 GTs were white with the blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense now. Okay.
we were right about everything except for Italy. Italy actually was red. So yeah, you got it right the first time.
Oh, sorry,
I
I'm doing the wrong. I'm doing
misremembered.
the wrong. Let's go.
There we go. Pontiac, we love it.
Yeah, Simone.
Yeah.
And that was your
Interesting.
racing
Yeah.
colors.
That we nailed for the most part. Good on
Oui,
us. Uh,
gotta love the French. So back to the front
do
wings
we
or the
though?
wings just
Do we?
generally. No, no, not at
I was gonna
all.
say, let's calm down there.
I know Esty is supposed to be your bestie, but he's not my bestie.
He's not. I don't. I don't. Mm.
Shout out your P7 in Monaco. Um,
Not
so
mine.
so the wings in for McLaren, I just don't think they're really gonna do anything. Like I was sorry, not do anything. The
Change
stiffening
anything?
of the wing is
Yeah.
gonna obviously change the performance of the car, but
You're saying there's
wasn't
a
this
change in
announced over
performance as
the
it gets
summer that
stiffer?
they're like by moving past that. So they said
Not
it over
very
this
well.
they said it over the summer that they were going to have this change by Barcelona. So it's not like it was a secret or that it came up all of a sudden. They had to have been developing this for a while, but just knowing, hey, we get the first however many races to still have this bendy wing, like of course we're going to use it, but
Yeah,
we'll be fine. We'll adjust for it.
I think it came about the around the first race was when they were saying, "Hey, this needs to be changed," or whatever the specification is. So,
Mm,
but it's going to come with a whole host of other upgrades, except for the other teams that are not upgrading, like
mhm.
Haas and the aforementioned Aston Martin. So we'll just have to see how it shakes out.
Williams, all of them. Yeah, fair enough. So you mean the people who are contending for, or the teams that are contending for the championship positions, they will have the changes for that, and then the other six are gonna go, we're good.
I think they still have to be compliant with whatever the new regulation is. I
Sorry,
don't
in
know
regards to
the
like the big
yes,
upgrades. Yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
Probably not.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Well, because I didn't do a lot of research on this, how about we just read a headline and then make some takes on it? What do you think?
Go ahead and read. I don't know how to.
All right, hot stories. Um, It's not attention. Fred Vasseur downplays rift rumors between Hamilton and race engineer as he praises Leclerc's Monaco podium. Um, I mean, I can't say that I had heard anything about a rift beforehand, but listening to the way Lewis has talked to his race engineer on the radios over the last 7 races would tell me I don't think he's loved the relationship so far.
I mean, it's anything growing. You know what I mean? He was with Mercedes and Peter Bonington for so many years that you got to figure it out.
Yeah, gotta figure out with a new person, but there's definitely been some growing pains. That's for I feel like you get at least one radio snippet every time of Lewis going like, "Dude, tell it to me this way. Like, what are we doing here?" Or tell it to me
Yeah,
sooner. Tell me to like they're very much still figuring it out. That's for sure.
but I mean, they're definitely. I obviously that relationship between Hamilton and Bono was like older than most. Um, so who knows if there were? I don't particularly remember if there were necessarily growing pains there. So um, I'm just going to chalk it up to being normal.
Hmm.
I'm just going to chalk it up to different communication, different style,
Different language this time too.
and different language. That's the other thing. I wasn't trying to bring out my anti-Italian racism here. Um, so I didn't want to say that necessarily, but yeah, like I mean,
It's there is a language barrier.
different language barrier.
Yeah. While his engineer does speak English, obviously, it's still
Mhm.
in an Italian way, so it's not what he's used to and what
Not
his
even necessarily that.
previous driving relationship has been for the better over a decade, right? So
Yeah, but
it's
it could also be like sentence structure, like the most important way to convey information, and
right.
also like attitudes within the team of how are we going to function, right?
Hmm.
So Ferrari has had engineering dysfunction in the past,
Really?
to put it gently. Um, So we'll just have to see. But yeah, I'm not really reading too much into it. I'll start to freak out later in the season, or if they're still having trouble after the summer break, then maybe I'll worry about it. But for now, it'll be what it'll be.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work itself out over there, but also it's more high profile because it is Lewis Hamilton and it is Ferrari. Like it's the team and it's the driver. So of course there's going to be a little bit more attention paid to it. It's just natural. The headlines are going to follow them no matter what they do. So makes sense. Next headline. I'm driving at high level. Alonso defends start to 2025 after Monaco power unit issue denies him maiden season points. I know we talked about that in the last episode. Is it seeing your family dog for starting
Oh,
to
dude, no, you
deteriorate?
do not have to bring up Daisy. Fuck you.
I've
No,
had
I
something
mean,
like that too. You're not alone there. But I mean, Alonso definitely seems like he's in it based on that headline alone. And I think that's how we kind of were starting to go
yeah,
towards it too. Like he's still there. You can see he's driving at a good level. He's just in a shit car this year again.
yeah. Shit car got taken out by Lawson a couple of times.
I'm
And
Liam
then
Lawson. Get out of my way.
yeah.
Have you heard that one?
I've not heard that one, but it's not
Oh,
incorrect.
there's it's F1 TikTok. There's a I don't even know who the group is, but they've made a song for Liam Lawson, and that is a line in it is I'm Liam Lawson, get out of my way, I'm Liam Lawson, and it just compilation of all of his times like wrecking into people.
That's glorious.
Yes, it
I
is.
don't know. I still think I think it was the Pit Stop Boys who did the original and best Max Verstappen song.
Super Max.
Yeah, iconic. That was the only like fucking musical that I got into. I didn't even get into it. It's just like it's stuck in your head and you need to listen to fucking anything else to get it out. So,
Hey, the Dutch disco man, it'll get you going.
oh my god, dude, you have no idea. Ooh, yeah, love it.
All right. Another headline for you. Let's see. Horner explains why Red Bull rolled the dice with Verstappen strategy in Monaco as reflects on jeopardy of race. I mean, they had to roll the dice, did they not? They were in fifth, but they got lucky being in fourth, so I don't know. They don't have it
Can't
this
I?
year, and you're in
I
Monaco,
can't.
whatever.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have any comments about Monaco. I can't. I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm
We're done
excited
with
to
it.
see. I'm excited to see like some actual racing on a track though this year. Like they're this weekend. It should be a
Yeah.
good option. Um,
Well, Barcelona was the testing track,
yeah,
correct?
it was before they moved it to Bahrain.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's the one that everybody really knows. They all grew up racing it on the European circuit, and
Hmm.
everybody kind of feels comfortable with it. That's also why they bring a lot of upgrades there, because of the time, but also because they know how it should react,
Hmm.
or how the upgrade should react, rather.
Right, because they did their testing there. But also, I know you said you're excited to see some racing on a real track. To my knowledge, this usually produces quite a boring race.
Um, as boring as Monaco. Like that's my only counter. You know what I mean? Like I fell asleep during that shit.
Hmm.
I will hopefully be awake the whole time. There will hopefully be a couple of overtakes on track, and it my hopes are higher than they were for the principality. Let's
Hmm.
just put it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, Barcelona is like from what I remember, it was always like the winner wins by almost lapping second place. It's a very fast track, but they can get around like the slow guys pretty quickly too, because there's a lot of DRS and overtaking zones, correct?
I think so. I'd have to look at a trap map again as far as the DRS zones, but I know that it's a better shot than Monaco. You know what I mean? Coming after that is the only hope that I have. So
Fair enough.
we'll just have to see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, what do you say we get into our previews for the teams here this weekend, and we kind of we'll
And
predict what we think everybody's going to be doing or what we should expect
and
from them.
And I think what we should do, Derek, is we should put money on the picks that we actually make instead of calling an audible. I
Oh,
think that is
I have been.
okay. All
And it
right.
has not gone well for me.
All right. Let's see how this one goes. What do you got? Who's your winner this weekend?
Oh, no. That's the very last thing. We can't jump ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. You're
We're gonna
normally the
do
one
our
that handles this. Sorry for trying to do a good segue.
no.
I've screwed it up. I'll
We
screw it
were
up
do
again.
we were doing one, but we have to go into our predictions for each team. We're gonna go team by team now, and we're gonna figure it out
Do
here
we
and
have to do
say what we
every
think.
team though? That's
Well,
my. Do we
we're
have
gonna
to do
speed it
everyone?
along for Kick We're done. We're already done with them. See, look at that. Hey,
Last.
we said
Great.
your name.
Awesome.
Moving on.
Next to last.
Yes.
Aston Martin.
So, but no, we'll start with McLaren. Again,
Okay.
they're leading the board. It's the Norris versus Piastri battle this year. Norris again, obviously coming off the win. We debated at length at the last one, but has your mind changed, or do you have any feelings? Do you think he'll have any sort of like a rebound? He'll be any more of a threat to Piastri this weekend?
I don't think so. I don't think he though the one thing that you could possibly say was that he won Monaco. That could turn things around. I don't know necessarily that that will be enough. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Okay.
Obviously, he won one of the jewels of the crown jewel, but
Mhm.
not. I don't think it's significant enough or told us enough about the car to see what's going to happen in Barcelona.
Okay.
And
Fair
he
enough.
still begged the team for his teammates' help when he didn't need it.
Once again, they knew what they were doing on that. That is not his fault.
It's still his fault because he asked for it. But all right, let's keep going.
Everybody asks for it. Everybody asks for it.
All
He's
right.
not
Whatever,
alone.
whatever you say, Derek. Whatever you say.
I know it is what I say.
All right, yeah, it's your program, as we've said.
All right. Mercedes is now in second place with a slight lead over Red Bull after scoring no points last
You
weekend.
mean
And
over
Ferrari.
Mac?
Yes, very much over Max, but the team of Red
Yeah.
Bull. So Antonelli had the rough weekend last week with being out early in qualifying. Russell very much in the same bout, actually, again. So, what do you think? Bounce back for them? Should we see them in the points? Should we see them getting higher points or contending for a podium?
Definitely should see them in the points. Would love to see a podium out of Antonelli. George, all right, cool, good for
We've
him.
said that every week.
I know, right? But
Our
it's
alien,
not
we've got him
exciting.
on alien watch, but he's starting to look a little less and less each time.
I don't know. I mean, in not Monza, he had the engine blow up. That's not really his fault.
Yeah.
Monaco just is not great for racing. It's more about Saturdays. So
Hmm.
um, he, sorry, my cat is tweaking right now. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I think that I would love to see Antonelli do well. And if George does well, then good for George.
And good for George. He's gonna have those quiet places. He's just gonna finish ahead of Kimmy and just be like, "Hey, I'm killing it this season for you guys. Don't think anything less."
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see in the context of the rest of the championship battle, Mercedes versus Max
Hmm.
for the championship or constructors championship positioning. So we'll
Hmm.
see.
Very much so. So yeah, Mercedes with 147 points going into the weekend. In third at the moment, Red Bull with 143. Again, the max show as it has been for the last 4 years. Um, so one of the other storylines I did see was some people are thinking Red Bull is going to make a pretty large jump here and could potentially contend more for some race wins.
Hmm.
I mean, it wouldn't be that shocking to see, but I'm going to go out on a limb and just say I don't think that's going to happen at all. I don't think, I think you're going to see that the development might not be as good because Newey is gone. And while they'll still be in contention because you have Max Verstappen as a driver, I don't think that the car is going to be as advanced as some might be thinking going into the weekend here.
So yeah, I mean, mid-season upgrades are mid-season upgrades. I don't know necessarily how much to read into it, right?
Hmm.
But I think if they do have something that improves the drivability of the car, and if they do have something that puts Yuki in a better position where he's able to get the most out of the car, maximize the car's window, or however you want to put it, I think anything that improves the drivability of that car for Yuki will make it that much easier for Max. And anything that makes Max's life easier or makes the car expands that window, so to speak, where the car's at the peak optimal efficiency for how it should be. I think that will ultimately make them take a step in and of itself. You know what I mean? So even a small change in Max's hands is not insignificant, and hopefully Yuki can finish and get some more points and not lose his seat at the end of the year.
Yeah, that would be good for Yuki there for sure, but I still think it's going to be like a P8 qualifying and probably finish relatively around the same spot for points.
Hey man, points are points.
Points are points. It's better than what he had. Well, that's not necessarily true. Hadjar is crushing it in the Racing Bull, but we'll move on to
like
Ferrari.
I said, we can't compare them, but let's move on.
Apples and oranges, but why can't fruit be compared? There's your second little Dickie reference on this podcast.
I think that's the same one, isn't it?
It probably is, but it's a great reference.
This bitch don't know about Pangea.
Brain, leave it alone. Oh, yep, nope. This is exactly what we did the last time. LD, we love you, baby. So moving on to Ferrari here, they're sitting on 142 points. They had a nice points haul from Monaco, brings them back into contention for that second place. It has been a steady up slope for Leclerc and Hamilton here. I think this is going to be your true team, like going to be second place coming over the next few weeks. I think that honestly, while they've tried to Ferrari themselves, or they make it sound like they're trying to Ferrari themselves over the last 2 weekends, it's been working out for them. I mean, Leclerc with the podium, he was that close to a back-to-back win at Monaco just by hundredths of seconds, losing out the pole to Lando. Hamilton's been getting up there. I mean, he had the grid penalty, but he would have finished above fifth there the week before. You know, they had another good race in Emilia Romagna. Like, I think their trend is the one to really look out for. I think they're going to be the ones maybe coming out in second place after this weekend.
I hope so. I really hope so. And I'm not going to say anything else because we're going to do our picks later in the segment.
Oh, okay. A little hint maybe for what's to come. I like it. Fifth place, Williams. So there's a big gap from fourth to fifth. They have 54 points right now. Albon Sainz. Sainz at his home track here. I think we could have a fun weekend out of him.
Yeah.
How do you think generally drivers perform at their home tracks?
It's a good question. Obviously, it makes the result more significant. I don't know if it necessarily gets them to find another gear, so to speak. I think that, I don't know if we'll see anything other than maybe a little bit more pressure. Obviously, Leclerc breaking the curse and finally getting the win at Monaco last year was something that we all liked seeing. But I don't know if it's anything more than just a little bit more pressure and a little bit more tension. And then it also depends on the driver. You know, there are probably some people that could feel a little bit more relaxed because they're sleeping in their own bed or eating at home or just a little bit more comfortable. Who knows? Half of them live in Monaco anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I guess driver dependent is a good way to put it, because I mean, Max just hasn't lost in the Netherlands. Lewis had the amazing win.
I'd put an asterisk back next to Max's record at Zandvoort.
Why?
Because he was in the best car, and like, I don't think that I think it's more about like just regular performance. We haven't had Zandvoort on the calendar for long enough to say, oh, somebody else is good here, or oh, whatever, yada yada yada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like 2021 wasn't like a guarantee for him there. He still had Lewis to contend with. The next 2 years, you could say he definitely was. Well, if he doesn't win here, they really messed up. But last year, it was that you already started to see the cracks in Red Bull by the time they got to Zandvoort, and he still pulled it out like that. That was not a track or a race that I think people were saying he had a guaranteed shot at winning. I think there was like he's probably going to lose this one, and he still pulled it out and got the win there. So I I think yeah, more pressure maybe is a good way to put it too. Driver dependent, and then more pressure because yeah, I guess Leclerc had the curse for a while, but is that really pressure? Is that more just he was cursed for a little bit? Because it's not like he was performing bad. He has however many poles at Monaco now, and I don't know. Checo did well in Mexico when he was with Red Bull, but I don't really know how he did before that.
Um, that's a good question. Did he win at home? Did he
He
ever
never
get a win
won.
at
He got
home? Yeah.
podium.
Yeah, I
He
know. I
he
knew he was on
crashed
the
last
podium.
year, but he
Was
crashed in a lot
he?
of places last year.
Was he on the podium with Force India?
I don't
I
think it
think
was
he might
there.
have, or they would
Oh,
have been Racing Point at that point. But
I don't think he was, but he could have been. I don't know.
yeah.
I know he got it when he was with Red Bull that first year. He got second, I think, or this year after he got second. I don't know, but he finished on podium with Red Bull. But anyways, I think it's something that they look forward to. So going through all of that, I think Sainz will have a good weekend.
Let's hope, man. We'll see.
And Albon will continue his run of form too.
And does that mean that Albon is ahead of Science? Because he's kind of
I I don't think that will happen this weekend. I just think they'll be neck and neck. They'll be right next to each other more so than
okay.
anything.
We'll
That's
see.
that's my thought for Williams. Again, they've been so much fun to watch this year. Having just admitted they're throwing the towel in already, they're just insanely fun to watch still. Haas is next in our points. They've got in our standings 26 points. Again, Behrman, bad luck in qualifying the last few times here. I think maybe showing some of his being a rookie at this point in time. Ocon's been a little bit more consistent, but again, their car has kind of fallen off, and they've been the Haas of they're good at some tracks, they're really bad at other ones, and
Yeah.
I don't know how they've performed historically here. To be honest, do you recall anything special out of them ever?
I don't recall anything special out of them ever, and that is independent of the track that they are racing on.
Where did where did Grosjean get the fourth place finish?
That would have been an earlier race. I don't remember, but that was several years ago at this point.
Austria. Roman Grosjean
Yeah,
secured a fourth place at Austrian Grand Prix for Haas in 2018, which is their best ever finish.
that was over half a decade ago.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, was that in the same race? I think this is saying that Kevin Magnussen finished fifth in that race as well.
there
Wow.
was there was some crazy fuckery going on there. I think.
2018 was a good year for them. I think that was the one thing when they were competing with Renault for a little bit for fourth, fifth, something like that, I think. But I don't know. It's Haas. They have some fun weekends, and more often than not, you can discard them. Racing Bulls, the Lawson Hadger show. They got 22 points after double point finish last weekend. Do you think Lawson can stay in that top 10 mix at all, or was Monaco just the exception to the rule?
Exception to the rule. Absolutely the McFuck not. Sorry, get to the back of the train.
What about Hadjar? What do you think he's going to do?
Honestly, that dude has surprised me every weekend. I'm not making any kind of predictions about that other than Hajar's gonna beat the brakes off of Lawson. No no other thoughts.
How big of a place gap will they have by the end of the race?
Three places. Three
Three
places.
places. Three
Yeah.
places.
Calling it
Okay.
calling it right now.
Three-place
Hajar on the
gap.
points.
Hadjar. Oh, Hadjar in the points. Okay, so I mean that means Lawson's finishing top 13.
Mm,
You sure about that?
because you got two stay kick, whatever. and Aston Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a Haas. Yeah, I feel good about it.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on to Aston Martin with 14 points on the season. Stroll Alonso. Again, we talked about Alonso a little bit, saying he has been racing well. I agree with that. In an Aston Martin, 11th?
I don't know. I would love to see Fernando break his curse and get points this weekend. That would be nice, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't be too hopeful. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. What track? Okay, I'm gonna pull up the calendar. What track do you think he's gonna do it at, or what race do you think he has the best potential to do that at?
Um,
Do you want me to run through the next few races?
no, I mean, I think if anything, like we were talking about the driver doing it in front of their home race, he would probably, if it were his choice, he would probably want to do it here.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, everybody loves Alonso. I think I think let's say he goes ahead and breaks the curse here and does it. I don't know necessarily that there's going to be a track that's going to be good for him or a track that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be good for the car or anything that's going to make it stand out.
Okay.
It's really just a week in and week out type of performance. I don't know that history can necessarily tell us anything here.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna say he's not gonna do it this
All right,
weekend.
there we
I'm
go.
sticking with my 11th as a ceiling for him.
We like to be divisive. We love it.
We got to cover all of our ground or all of our bases here. Alpine, Gasly, and Colapinto. They've got 7 points on the year. See you next week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Flavio's not going to turn this ship around this year. That's just not going to happen.
No, it's game over. And I think, like, honestly, I hate to be a pessimist. A lot of these teams, there's no storyline that's making me pay attention to them. You know what I mean? Like Flavio,
McLaren's your biggest one.
yeah, Flavio coming in, okay, awesome. How much does the team sell for and to who? That's my question. That's what I'm looking out for. That's what I'm reading the tea leaves of.
He's picking out the
Anything other than
biggest and the
that.
prettiest bow to slap on that pig.
Oh, dude, straight up, he is shopping. He is looking for a new boat or possibly even a plane to fly just with that check that he's going to get from that sale. I don't think that there's any I don't think there's anything else he's looking for or anything else that team has to bring to the conversation, unfortunately, which is a shame because it's a historically um, important. I don't want to say important, but a historic team nonetheless. So
Fair enough. They are the French manufacturer still, so yeah. I mean, they've definitely had a racing presence the entire time. So, and Kick Sauber. All right, moving on.
go.
I've got some stats and history for you. Let's get into it here. So,
Hit me with it.
the first Spanish Grand Prix, what year do you think that took place in?
Are we counting just the Spanish Grand Prix, or are we counting it when it was the European Grand Prix?
I don't even know what that means.
So basically, it used to be that they would do a European Grand Prix, and it would be on various different circuits, and it would kind of like be a rotating track. Spanish Grand
The
Prix.
Spanish Grand Prix specifically.
I'm gonna say 2005. Am I crazy?
So,
Am I way wrong?
way wrong. This says
All right.
1951 was the first one.
Okay. All right.
So the
I feel like
second ever season.
there are lots of different also, I'm so mad about that trivia, by the way, from last weekend where I guessed 1951 because it's the 75th anniversary of the sport. Like, I've never been good at basic math, but that was really, really bad.
Really put it in perspective for you.
No, I realized it after I said it. I was like, motherfucker. Yeah, I when was that? I think we should look at first race at Circuit Barcelona Catalonia or whatever they call it, for a more I don't want to say historically accurate, but a more uh, representation.
When
I don't know the word I'm looking for.
What Barcelona, Catalonia? What's it called again?
Dude, that's a fucking great question. I don't know.
Barcelona.
Let's see.
F1.
I
Okay.
think of the Queen's.
The Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Oh, you were correct. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We'll go back to our favorite source, Wikipedia. Do. Race is one of the oldest in the world. Yep. The event is due to take place here until 2026. Oh, that's right. Next year is the last year for it, and then they're moving to the new Mad Ring in Madrid.
Mm.
I forgot about that. Yeah, because Sainz was there recently to unveil the opening of it. Let's see.
Formula One Grand Prix was hosted from 1991 to 2025. So 91 would have been
There
the
you go.
first Spanish Grand Prix
Yep. At Barcelona.
at Barcelona.
Yep. I am now seeing that too. Cool. Well, hey, it's a good long run, 93 to or 91 to 26.
I would have to say, I'm just reading through the history.
Well, don't read too far because I have more trivia for you that it might include.
All right.
All right. So
Hit me
I'll
with
move
it.
on to that. Who has the most pole positions for the Spanish Grand Prix?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess Schumacher.
Schumacher is correct. He holds 7 for your record there. Who has the most wins at the Spanish Grand Prix?
I'm gonna guess Schumacher again. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
He is one of 2. There are 2 drivers tied with 6. So Schumacher being one. Who do you think the second one's going to be?
Hamilton or Vettel? Let's go with Hamilton.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct. Let's see. Oh, this is just a fun fact. I'm not even going to ask. Fernando Alonso's most recent F1 win came here in 2013. That's a long time since
It's a
he's won.
long fucking time ago.
That's a long time.
I think the stat was, and we might have covered it on the first episode. Fernando has had a career equally as long. So if you take the time from his first race until his last win, he has had that many races on the other half of his last win. Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Yeah.
That just tells you he just has not been in a good car for half of his life.
He's had such bad luck, dude. He took 2 years. Are you sure it was 2013?
That's what it says. Fernando Alonso's most recent F1. That is not from Wikipedia. That is from Formula1.com.
Wow.
That's from their official site. So I'm going to say they have the books.
Damn, I feel old. I feel old.
Why'd you watch that or something like that?
No, I remember like I don't know because I think I started watching in 2014, and like so
you've never seen a live Alonso win.
No, dude. But you know that gif of him getting out of the car and he's like, ah, and doing like the dinosaur thing. It's the funniest shit in the world. He had the funniest celebrations. It was just the goofiest shit you've ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Damn, I'm old.
Shout out Fernando. Last year there were 86 overtakes, so definitely a lot more should be expected this year.
More than Monaco, Derek. More than Monaco.
Yes. Our safety car probability is 38%. VSC is a 25% here for the weekend to let you know a little bit about maybe what to expect. Classified finishers and things like that. So, let's see. Last 5 pole sitters. Last year was Lando.
Mm-hmm.
Year before that was Max. Year before that was Leclerc. And then in 21 and 20, it was Lewis. So you had quite a variety there on pole. Not as much for the winners, though.
this race last year was when McLaren really kind of just showed that they might have a little something special.
Very much
Um,
so.
so I think that in and of itself is the most historical trend to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, this is the one to watch out for the rest of the battle this year.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Your last 5 winners, the last 3 years were Max, the two before that was Lewis. Pretty, that's going to be a lot of these tracks. It was the Max and Lewis show for the past, well, decade between them. But anyways, that is my stats and history for you here. What I want to find now, though, because I said this earlier, I am pretty positive that this is a track where the drivers kind of blow it out of the water. So let's see. Last year's race results. Okay, here we go. So we know Max won. Norris was on pole. Max won by 2.2 seconds over Norris and then had a 17-second gap to Hamilton.
Mhm.
Okay, let's look at 23. Max beat Lewis Hamilton by 24 seconds in 2023. That's more like what I recall. In 2022, Max beat Sergio Checo Perez by 13 seconds. In 2021, Lewis beat Max by 15.8 seconds. And in 2020, Lewis beat Max by 24 seconds. And in 2020, you had Lance Stroll finish in 4th place and was lapped.
Sounds about
So,
right. Lance fourth. Good for him.
yeah, Checo was right behind him in 5th too. I mean, that was the pink Mercedes, was it not? 2020? Because it was the
That
Racing Point.
sounds right. Yeah, that
That was
sounds
the pink
right.
Mercedes. Yeah, that was a good car that year. But yeah, I mean, 4th place was lapped. Actually, let me look back at the rest of this to see when the last lapped car was. 2021, 8th place. Okay, so maybe not as much. But regardless, big gaps here. So with that, what do you say we get into our picks?
Lead on.
All right, so we'll start as usual with our race winner. What do you, or what? Who do you think is going to come out with the win here this weekend?
I think this may shock you.
I think I have an idea where you're going.
It's going to be Oscar.
Not where I thought you were going to go with that.
I know I got your hopes up, right?
I thought you were going to pick a red car.
I do think I'm delusional enough to want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do have that mental illness of being a Ferrari fan.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they're on for a podium. I'm
I
calling
agree
that
with that.
one. Instead of an outright victory.
Yeah.
But I think Oscar's going to have a bounce back, especially because he had a strong performance in Monaco. He just wasn't first
Yeah.
on Saturday. So, and especially Lewis coming out of it, he could have been a little bit higher up if it weren't for the grid penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Charles coming in second. I think we might. I'm I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm ready to get hurt again, Derek.
But you can't pick it.
No, I can't. I think it's going to be Oscar, but there will be some red on the podium.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, I just know what's going to happen, and this is really frustrating. Lando,
Is going to let you down. That's what's going to happen.
I'm going to pick him to win. And again, I didn't pick him to win last week, and of course he won. I pick him? Oh, we didn't have an episode in his other race win, so I couldn't have picked him. So I cursing him? Is it me? Is it really me?
Hey man,
Tell me.
I hope so. Keep picking him.
Oh God, I really
Let's
don't
find
want
out.
that to be the case. But I am fucking pot committed to this take for the rest of the year at this point in time. I can't
until
let it
you're
go.
not. You said
Until I'm
that you
not.
might change your mind. I don't know.
Well, I said by what? How many races?
You wouldn't give a committed answer.
I said after I said, oh, I think I said halfway through the season. So let's see, there's what, 25? So we'll call it, oh, all right, I'll say it now. After Great Britain, if there's that points gap, which I forget what I said at this point in time.
I think you were non-committal on
20?
that as well.
I think I said 20. I think I said 20. I'm just gonna say it now. If there's more than a 20-point gap after Great Britain, I will start to admit defeat on, on the season.
It's still a long ways to go, man. I mean, there's still, what is this, race 9
This
question
is
mark?
race 9, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of season to go. There's a lot of racing to go. I mean, I've just picked a favorite based on vibes. I don't know that we can necessarily call it any further than that, but hey, we'll see.
Fair enough. Let's see. I am pulling it up. Oh, we're doing winning margin next, so we know what that one is. All right, under 5, between 5 and 10, or over 10 seconds. What do you think?
3, 2, 1, over 10
Over.
seconds.
Yes, I had that one pretty well known going into this one, even without the research, because I just recall this race being what we've read from 4 out of the last 5, just complete blowouts. So, all right, I am finding the line for classified finishers. Here we go. It is set at 18 and a half again. That's probably going to be pretty standard going forward this year. So over under 18 and a half for your classified finishers. What do you think is going to happen there?
I'm gonna think rookie chaos
Hmm,
and go with under,
you're
just to
going with
make
the
it
under.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would be. Obviously, we want everybody to come home safely. That's the number one goal. But I think a little bit of rookie chaos would be exciting after a dull Monaco. Let's see. Let's see if Bortoletto puts somebody into the wall.
Hmm. Now he blamed that was a different headline that we didn't look at. He blamed who was it? I gotta pull it up, but he was blaming someone else saying that they messed him up. Bortoletto unhappy with risk Antonelli took that resulted in crash after embarrassing overtake. That's right, because it happened when Antonelli got around him.
Mhm.
So I don't know if Bortoletto's really gonna be your issue. Remember, you also have to remember he's in the kick sour. They're not getting
Yeah,
close to
there's not
anybody
going to have
anyways.
anybody to overtake him. Yeah, no.
Yeah. You
Um,
don't gotta worry about him this year.
no.
He's just there.
I just remembered the spicy radio and I loved it. I'm
Hmm.
about it. So we'll see how it goes.
Hmm. Why?
My bad.
Boy, that was a yawn.
I know. Snapped
Um,
under.
so you like the under. I actually like the over on this one. I don't think this is a track that
I
really
also like it,
they're
but you got to
so
freshen things up.
far apart from each other. I'm trying to win picks. You got such a big lead on me right now. It's ridiculous. I can't look that bad out here. But no, there's such big gaps between all of them. It's a true circuit, so it's not like you got the tight walls to worry about or anything like that. Like I like the over a lot for this one. I think this is a good track for all 20 to finish, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
So, all right, there's our picks for the weekend. Do you have any bonus picks?
Um, other
You
than
kind of
other
said one
than
with Ferrari
Ferrari,
on the
yeah,
podium.
Ferrari on the podium. That's the only one I really got.
Yeah. Um, I don't really have anything for you here. Oh, let's talk about it first and then we'll get into it. So there's our Pontiac Grand Preview for Barcelona. What do you say we wrap up with a little bit of some Detroit Grand Prix talk real quick?
Let's go. Let's wrap.
Let's do it. So, yes, following the Indy 500, Detroit is next on the calendar for those guys in the open wheeled American series here for us, and in our home of Detroit this weekend. Back to the streets of Detroit. This is now what, the third year
Third.
of it? Yeah, third year here. Prior to that, it was in Belle Isle. Did you know that F1 used to race in Detroit?
Yes, 1981 was the last year.
I
No, it would
thought
have
it
been the
was more in the
90s.
middle. I thought it
Whatever.
was like 83 to 85 because they raced here for like 3 years. But yeah, I thought that was fun. And they raced on a similar circuit to what they kind of race now for IndyCar.
Interesting. They didn't race on Belle Isle.
They did not. No, they did race through the
Interesting.
streets. Yep.
Interesting.
So here, I pulled up now. Yep. So they raced in Detroit from 1982 through 1988. So a little bit longer than what we expected, but yes, they had a very similar path around the city. So they drove down through the where the Rensen currently sits. They didn't have the long ass straightaway on Jefferson that IndyCar does have right now, but they did
Mhm.
have parts of it through there. And they had a similar turn where the turn three for IndyCar is as well, and then they kind of race down through and up into the round up by the river before kind of making their way back around through a little bit more of the downtown streets, if you will. So that was kind of fun, similar. Who let's see, Ayrton Senna had the most wins in Detroit for F1. He had three.
Mhm.
As a constructor, McLaren had two, Lotus had two. Wait, did Ayrton Senna race for Lotus then?
Yes.
I did not know that. Huh, there
Yeah.
you go. Let's see.
Or
And
I
then
don't. I think he had one in the Lotus, and then the other in the McLarens. I'm not sure the timeline on which when he switched over. But
let's
I
see.
think one of those wins would have been in the Lotus.
Oh,
I don't know
well,
if that was Lotus's last win. No, it wouldn't have
well,
been.
this is okay.
Sorry.
So Senna won in 86, 87, and 88. And then based on constructor wins, Lotus won in 86 and 87, and the McLaren in 88. So he must have
Yeah.
been racing for Lotus those 2 years. I didn't know he raced for Lotus. I thought he was a McLaren driver, and I honestly couldn't tell it. And what does he Benetton when he started? Who did he start with?
Uh, Tolman,
Holman. Okay.
which might have become Benetton later. I don't know. It's like it Lotus. The way I view it is like where the factory is, right? So Lotus was the Enstone team that became Benetton, that became all the other like iterations of whatever it was.
Yeah.
Jaguar became Red Bull, uh, and was whoever it was before. And I don't know. I could be totally butchering that. But yeah, the lineage and the history of the teams is a big old asterisk.
Very much. Very much. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, he went from Tolman to Lotus and then McLaren after that. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, there you go. Learning more every day. Son, what a great career he had. It's just a shame, honestly. It still is. But back to our Detroit talk here. So yeah, Detroit, F1 again, story, a little bit of a run there in the 80s now. IndyCar, yes, back into the streets of Detroit. Turn three last year. Do you recall what happened there?
I do not at all.
So
Enlighten
last
me.
year, so turn three on the Detroit Grand Prix is after they have the longest straightaway down Jefferson, which is right in the heart of the city. They go into a sharp ass hairpin, and it's you could get like
Chaos.
easily 4 cars wide going through that turn. Honestly, you could probably fit 5 cars there if they played nicely. However, last year they didn't play nicely like one single time. Opening lap crash, next like start crash. Like I think they had 4 or 5 cautions alone just from turn three. It was
Jeez.
incredible because they just bunch up so much after they are ripping it down this long straight. And then, yeah, going into this tight ass hairpin, long, tight ass hairpin. It's crazy. It's so much fun. The first year they had the race back in the streets. Turn three was just a grandstand ticket that you could buy. The very
Mhm.
next year they turned it into club seats because they're like, oh shit, everything happens here. We can't have just general admission tickets coming in because it was a general admission ticket. It was literally you bought your ticket and then you could sit as close as you want when you got there.
Interesting. Damn.
Now it's suites and clubs.
Damn.
So
And
for us, when
we
we're down there, we gotta walk in and around there. There's a couple of areas where you
let's
can
do it.
see it just from like
Mhm.
a public viewing point. But the
Which
best
is where
seats
we'll
are
be. Cheap
yes,
seats.
exactly. Hey,
Yeah.
we got to get this podcast going a little bit more. Maybe try to get a media pass or whatever in the future, and we can get a little bit more access.
All right. I would be very shocked if they gave us a media pass. I would not
In the future.
call this journalism by any standard, Derek.
Hey,
But
little J
hey,
journalists,
maybe
editorials.
yeah, vibes-based pundits. How about that?
I like that. That's
All right.
that's like sandwich artist.
Yeah. We're sandwich artists. We're
Yes,
sandwich artist level journalists.
vibe-based pundits.
Yeah. No, I think take merchants is a little offensive.
Mm.
But no, I completely forgot where I was going with this, but I'm excited to go watch the race with you. It'll be really fun. Maybe we could try and do a little bit of a live recap episode on the way back or while we're there. I don't know. Might be too much noise to do it while we're there, but maybe
It might be a little
on the way
noisy.
home. Yeah.
But no, it's going to be fun, and that is I've decided as we were talking here, it leads me into my bonus pick for the weekend.
Please go ahead.
I am going to run it back and say Alex Palou is going to win again.
How could you say something so controversial yet so brave?
It worked last week. It's worked for 4 other races. I'm going for a 6th one.
Let's go for it, man.
Let's do it.
It worked for 4 other races. You're going.
He won
for
4 out
6th?
of 5. He won 4 out of 5 prior to Indy 500 last week, and then he
I'm
won
just questioning
Indy.
your math. Oh, so that's 5.
So that was his
and
5th
this would be
race.
6. Okay.
This would be a 6th
All
one that he
right.
wins.
I don't know how to
Yep.
count either. So.
Hey, we learned that earlier. You couldn't do basic math, so that's not that shocking.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty. But yeah, anything else for our Pontiac Grand Preview here for Barcelona?
I don't think so. I feel like I should fire off a race winner for Detroit this weekend, but I don't know enough IndyCar drivers. I'm just gonna say RLL is gonna have another good result. Let's see.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, hey,
Let's
you got your bonus pick in. You got a podium for Ferrari. So
yeah.
do you want to?
It's something.
Do you want to go a little crazy and like say a driver maybe? Lewis or Leclerc? Or do you not want to go
Honestly,
there?
no. Honestly, no. Because I mean, like, I would love for it to be Lewis. I don't think he's gelled quite yet. Maybe this is the event where he gets into that flow state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just hope it's somebody in red, man. That's all. I'm ready to get hurt again, Derek, but I'm not that ready to get hurt. Let's just put it that
You're
way.
hoping they use Johnson & Johnson, baby. No more tears.
I would say Vaseline brand petroleum jelly. How's that?
It's like almost there, but it's soothing at the same time.
No, just significantly more lubricating.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody, to our Pontiac Grand Preview.
The loosest episode we've ever done.
Yes, it is. Well, we'll see you after the race and after our live race.
Have a good weekend, everybody.